Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillah. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah. Amma ba'd. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. A person has asked a question. They related their situation. They stated that they don't really have an issue with reading. They can read a lot. And sometimes they read perhaps hours on end. A lot of reading. But what they notice is after some time, they realize they're not really absorbing much. Sometimes pages will go by, and then they'll realize that I just read a few pages and I don't know what I just read. Just nothing at all. So that is an issue that is very common. It's actually an issue with reading comprehension. So anyone who reads a lot, they would understand that in the very beginning when they started reading, they would find that they can read sometimes on autopilot. The mind is picking up the words, it's reading the words. So you are kind of hearing yourself read the words in your mind. But after some time you realize that there was no information that was absorbed. So the problem here is that your mind and your capability of reading is like a muscle. Just like any other muscles that you have in your physical body gets fatigued, the mind also gets fatigued, and that is your limit. So once you reach your reading capacity, your comprehension capacity, it'll be very difficult for you to absorb more. The simple solution is to keep on reading, develop a habit. You don't have to read for so much in the very beginning because you're reaching your limit every single day. Make sure you reach that limit, and after some time you will notice that you're capable of comprehending more and more. So I would suggest that you first find out how much time it takes you to lose comprehension. In the very beginning when you read, you'll notice that you are absorbing that information, you're understanding. After some time you'll notice that, okay, now my mind is starting to wander a lot, and it's very hard for me to bring it back onto the topic of the book. So time yourself from the beginning of your reading session till that moment when your mind starts to wander a lot and it's very hard to bring it back, and notice how much time that is. And then utilize that as your minimum amount of reading on a daily basis. If it's 30 minutes, you can stay focused, and then after that your mind starts to wander. Then on a daily basis, try to read at least 30 minutes. Now after some time, you'll notice that after 30 minutes your mind does not wander, and maybe it starts to wander after 40 minutes, after 50 minutes, sometimes after an hour. This means that your comprehension has increased. Your capability of staying focused has increased, which is strengthening of the mind actually. Some people can continuously read with comprehension for hours on end, multiple hours on end, without any aid, without taking breaks. There are people like that, mashallah. I'm not one of those people, and I'm going to share with you inshallah here what things I do to keep my mind focused. And I am, alhamdulillah, able to read for hours on end, but not directly, not straight. I have some tips inshallah. So that's my first suggestion, that you time yourself, figure out where your limit is, and then slowly increase over time once you start noticing that your reading comprehension has gone up. Now, what are some things that you can do in order to help you with this comprehension? Let's say you want to read for an hour, you want to read for 2 hours, but your limit is 30 minutes. Do you just give up? Do you just stop? And the answer is no. There's actually some things that you can do, inshallah, that will allow you to read for a very long period of time on a daily basis. So the first thing that I would suggest that helps you, once you start noticing that your mind is starting to trail off, and it does this often, you bring it back onto the topic of the book, it trails off. You bring it back onto the topic, it trails off. The first thing you can do is, after every page, try to bring your mind back onto the topic on the book, read just one page, and focus in on it. Then you take a break and you ask yourself, what did I just read? And you do this check for every single page from that point onward. In the first 30 minutes, it's not necessary. In the hypothetical situation that you can read for 30 minutes with comprehension, it's not necessary to do that because you're absorbing. But when you start losing comprehension, now you start doing these check-ins. So have these checkpoints after every single page and ask yourself, okay, what was discussed here? Sometimes you're going to have to reread a passage. Sometimes you're going to have to re-look at that page and kind of formulate, what was this about? And in this manner, your mind is being put on edge, and it is, forced to actually think properly about what you're reading. And so if it does wander, then at the end of every page, you're bringing it back. Now, if your mind wanders too much, then after every paragraph, you can do this, right? So like 2-3 times on a single page. But, don't overstress the mind too much, because then your nafs is going to dislike reading. So I would actually suggest, if your limit is 30 minutes, then maybe make your session 40 minutes. Or if your limit is 10 minutes, make your session 20 minutes. So 10 minutes of easy reading, you're comprehending. Then the rest of the 10 minutes, you're doing this kind of thing after every single page. So that's the first tip. Have these checkpoints at the end of every single page and ask yourself, what did I just read? The second thing that you can do is simply get up, walk around, right? So you're reading in one spot, you're feeling really tired, mentally fatigued, your mind just keeps wandering. That's because you've reached your limit. Get up from your chair and sit in another chair. Sit in another chair. And what that's going to do is freshen up the environment. And it will actually cause your mind to feel relieved. And then you'll be able to read a little bit more. SubhanAllah, small little changes can have a great effect. When I was memorizing the Quran, Hifdhul Quran, you would get fatigued very often. That's because you've reached your max capacity. Such small things, such as, when you're reading, you're kind of rocking back and forth like this. If in that moment I'm feeling like sleepy and I just rock like this, I will automatically get myself out of that sleepiness, and I'll start waking up again. So something so small, such a small change as the direction of the rocking, it will actually change how I feel about the reading and actually waken me up. So I would suggest the second thing, get up, take a walk, have a sip of water, you take a small break, 1 minute, and if you really want to take maximum benefit from your time, pray 2 rak'ahs, make a dua, Ya Allah, allow me to comprehend more, strengthen my mind, and then go back and read a little bit more. And then you time yourself, okay, today I'm going to read 30 minutes or 20 minutes or 1 hour, whatever it is, a little bit beyond your maximum comprehension amount. And once the alarm goes off, you're done for the day. So it has to be thought of as exercise, because you are developing your mind when you read. And then there's another topic. The third point I would stress is the type of reading you do. Now, if you're reading a storybook, the way you're going to go about it is different than if you're reading academic works. Now, if I'm reading a storybook, I don't really read too many storybooks nowadays, like novels, etc. I did in the past. I didn't really need. I would be hooked onto the story. Like, I would be seeing the story as if it was a movie in my mind. So I never had an issue with that. But academic works, I would get really bogged down. My mind would wander, and that wouldn't be very good for me. So I have actually something that will benefit you, inshallah, that I personally do. I'm going to show you right now in a book that I'm currently reading. I started reading this book, alhamdulillah. I'll talk to you about this on another day. At-Tasdeed fi Sharh Tamheed. So this is a book in Aqidah, really amazing commentary on the famous Maturidi work At-Tamheed of Imam Abul Mu'in al-Nasafi. So here, this is a really dense work. This is not a storybook. Although I want to share with you on another video a story he does put inside here. This is like almost, it's ilm al-kalam, it's philosophy in a sense. I'm on the section in the beginning of the book on epistemology. So extremely dense. Now, if you can see here, on some pages, I'm not sure if it's visible. Look in the margin here where my pinky is. There's some writing there. All right. Then some more writing here in the margin. It's not part of the book. That's my handwriting. And then more writing here. So what is this writing? What I'm essentially doing is every time I read a certain passage, a certain idea that the Imam al-Sighnaqi is bringing forth, I summarize it. So I ensure that I understand it fully. I sometimes have to read it twice, 3 times to fully comprehend it and understand. Sometimes you read a thing and you think you understand it, but when it comes to writing it down, you're just like, wait, what is it? So you have to reread it. This ensures that I fully understand what the Imam is saying. Then I summarize it in the margins there. So these are not necessarily because I read the book again and I have those. That's another benefit, but many times I don't even read a book twice. But the main reason I write that there is so that my mind can stay focused on the topic, and I'll summarize the whole thing there. So that is something that can really benefit you if you're reading dense work. Stay focused by telling yourself, I have to write a summary on the side. And if you do that, your mind is focused, like, I need to do this, so I need to fully understand. So it's not just like you sitting back and absorbing the words. It's actually you engaging with it. And then sometimes if I don't understand something, I'll just write, I don't understand. Or if I have an objection to something, and that's another point, that I'll talk about in another time, that you don't have to accept every single thing you read. I don't want to go too much into this, and you guys will be like, oh, that's an Aqidah book. How can you, reject what's in there? I'm not rejecting anything. But sometimes I'll write, fihi nazar. There's some issue with this specific point. So anyway, that's the third thing. Write notes on the side that will help you stay on track with what you are focused on. And the fourth point, the last one, is when you're engaging with hard works, like difficult works that are challenging you, your nafs is going to want to run away from that. How so? It's going to want to, periodically, it's going to want to pick up the phone. It's going to want to, scroll. It's going to want to check your email. It's going to want to do all this other stuff. So set your alarm clock for however many minutes you want to read, and then just put the phone away. Just do not stop reading for that period of time. Otherwise, it won't count towards that minute goal that you have. You want to read for 30 minutes straight, and then for 10 minutes you were scrolling. That's not 30 minutes, that's 20 minutes. So you have to put away all other distractions, and that is your exercise. Think of it as your exercise of the day. Reading is your exercise of the day. You can't go without it. You have to take it seriously. Just like you have a certain block of time for your exercise on a daily basis, reading has to be the same. So these are a few tips, inshallah, that will help your comprehension. If you do them, you will be able to, even if you have less reading comprehension, inshallah, you'll be able to read longer than your amount of comprehension allows. And what you will see, inshallah, you do this week after week, your reading comprehension actually will expand. You will be able to read for 1, 2, or 3 hours straight. Alhamdulillah, no real difficulty there because your mind is getting used to it. And what that actually means is that your brain actually got stronger. So this is a way that you can strengthen your mind, inshallah, by utilizing reading. And of course, you get the ilm nafi', the beneficial knowledge. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for al-ilm nafi', beneficial knowledge, and also beneficial practice. Wa sallallahu tabaraka wa ta'ala ala khayri khalqi Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in bi rahmatika ya arhamar rahimin. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.